I recently made a video talking about the relationship between Jay-Z and J. Cole from executive to artist. And in that video, a lot of comments in there wanted to contrast that relationship between the one of Lil Wayne and Drake. And honestly, you guys were onto something because it couldn't be more night and day during Drake's come up. So let's get into it. And let's get into how I think, except for another artist and Lil Wayne, this may be the best executive to artist development I've ever seen in hip hop. Now, here's the thing, okay? Executive to artist, but when the executive is an artist development, it's not supposed to be set up to work out. In fact, it's actually set up to fail. When have you seen someone be as hot as fish grease and they get somebody else up under them and the other person gets to their level of notoriety and sometimes even like Drake, better? Yeah, it doesn't really happen. And here's the thing. Wayne was so good at it, or he was just so damn lucky. He did it twice, not only with Drake, but also with Nicki Minaj. Now, how is this baton passing an executive to artist relationship so much more different than the one between Jay-Z and J. Cole? Let's number it out. Number one, the first problem here was the talent discrepancy. And when I say talent discrepancy, I'm talking about the one between Drake and J. Cole. But wait, I'm not talking about the rapping talent discrepancy. I don't think Drake is that much of a better rapper than J. Cole. But there was a discrepancy in their ability to make hits and their ability to be super focused on melody, right? Now, in fairness to J. Cole, Drake has proven that he's done that he's always had a knack to do that better than a lot of people in hip hop. But Lil Wayne picked up on that early. Don't believe me? Let's quote a song right here. I remember this. Money to blow. And they can't make it because this guy got money to blow. See, when I listen to my rap lyrics, I try to break it down, but I'm like, hey, why'd you say that? And who remembers when Wayne said this? And we gonna be all right if we put Drake on every hook. This was very early in Drake's career, but I was thinking to myself, Wayne must have always had to have known this, even before Drake probably put pen on paper and signed that deal. He must have known, this Afro-Canadian, boy, he knows how to put a melody together. Now, what does that have to do with anything? See, that prevents Wayne and Drake from having the type of conversations that Jay-Z was having to Cole, right? Can you make a song? Can you get on the charts? So with that as me, number one, we talk about number two. And quite frankly, now we can talk about Wayne as an executive versus Jay-Z as an executive. And there were so many fundamental differences. But choose your poison, right? Now, I'm going to sound like I'm dinging Wayne here, but let's keep it a bean. Wayne as an executive felt like it was in name and promo only, right? Wayne, the CEO of Young Money, which was under Cash Money, which was under Universal. So in defense of Jay-Z, it does feel like Wayne probably had the luxury of being less involved in the machine that would work with Drake, right? Now, remember, although Wayne was the president of Young Money, there were a lot of people on the Cash Money that were working with Drake, Slim Tez and Cortez Bryant, that were helping Drake's team at that time get this ball rolling. Then you compare that with Jay-Z starting Roc Nation. That's Jay-Z's new thing. That's Jay-Z's new baby, getting away from Rockefeller. So, gonna be a little more hands-on. Gonna be a little less grace about whether or not you can crunch out a hit, buddy. And I do want to mention Wayne as an executive. The upside now to not maybe being like that is that he wasn't even thinking maybe as an executive when he picked up Drake from Jay Prince Jr., right? Like, was it Jay Prince Jr.? It was just Jazz. Let's just say Jazz. But anyway, he was so much willing to help Drake build a buzz before pen was on paper. That's got to be worth something. Now, another thing with Wayne, I do have to mention the way he came into the game, the way he went from Hot Boys to Wayne, I'm the best rapper alive, to now let me try my hand in being an executive. It's a lot different also from Jay-Z's development, right? Jay-Z came in a lot older, 26, trying to work with Dame Dash, trying to work with Biggs, trying to get something going because every other label told him to go kick rocks. So they decided to start Rockefeller Records. I think Jay-Z was more apt to look at the game like, hey, dog, this is a production game. You got to produce. And if you don't produce, if you can't make a hit, it ain't going to work, right? Jay-Z went from Reasonable Doubt era to maybe not having that hit, right, to going and saying, hey, I might have to get with the Shiny Suit era with Diddy in them. That was a fact. So he was going to be more willing to take that type of attitude and let J. Cole know, like, hey, all these little mixtape things that you rocking with, that your fans love, that's not gonna cut it, brother. And that leads us to Lil Wayne's mixtape strategy, right? Because we got to think about creative strategy and mixtape strategy for Lil Wayne. See, we knew when Wayne's come up, right? When he went from the Hot Boys era to when his brothers left him to this new era of, I want to be the best rapper alive. Wayne's mindset was, hey, I'm going to take people's beats. I'm going to freestyle over them. I'm going to get the fans loving this. And then I'm going to put out these albums. Again, Jay-Z, not so much. I'm not saying that Jay-Z doesn't know what a mixtape era is. I'm not saying that Jay-Z wasn't aware of Wayne's creative strategy. You know, when Wayne was doing rap songs over Show Me, Dough Is What I Got, which was over Jay-Z, Show Me What You Got, which made Jay-Z go, whoa, I got to take a look at rap again. This guy's on me. But I just think that sometimes you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And that same old dog wants to tell the new pup, this is how you still keep doing it, right? So you got to assume that, you know, Wayne had to have had some buy-in with Drake's approach, whether or not it was going to even be before the deal was signed, saying, hey, you want to drop So Far Gone? Go ahead. Go drop So Far Gone before you even sign the deal. Hey, you know what? You want to do 1,000 features? Go ahead. Hey, you want to hop on? You understand what I'm saying? Whereas Jay-Z may give Cole a little pushback when Cole says, I think this is the album, it's ready, let's go. And Jay-Z's going to say, no, that's not the album. And Cole says, you know what? Screw it. I'll make this a tape. And I know that because, again, you got to read the lines between the lyrics. Remember GOMD? When J. Cole said, the best kept secret, even hold, try to keep it, then I leak the damn tape. I believe he was talking about Friday Night Lights right here, right? They were, you know, him and Eve talked about, hey, there was some songs on there we thought we were supposed to make an album. But Jay told us, you ain't got a single, right? We can't. And there you go. That's why stuff like this is being said. And the last portion for me, we got to talk about personality. Now, this is the part a lot of y'all may not like, but just remember, I am a Hovenger. So if I can call it as it is, don't get upset, right? It doesn't make one person better than the other. This is just what I read within their personality in music, not in their personal life, right? Lil Wayne, although also very competitive and as competitive as Jay-Z, in my opinion, I don't think he had the coy factor to him that Jay had, right? Like, or the chess overthinking sort of asset that would give off that you're trying to be, that you indirectly end up looking like a hater, right? I think unlike Jay, who throughout his career was always looking for chess move after chess move and seemed to have a laser focus on his capitalistic, climb up, I think Wayne's was a bit more tempered, right? And of course, Wayne's probably would be a bit more tempered because his background is different. In fact, so much so that he was able to tolerate a lot before he actually went and sued Birdman and said, hey, man, you know what? I'm missing some money. And I believe in that lawsuit, he actually was retroactively, compensated for a lot of stuff with Young Money that he wasn't paid, right? And when you have that type of mindset, which is a little more chill, a little more laid back, some of you may call it ignorance, unlike Jay, who probably was like super like, hey, I don't know what's going on in the business. I'm overcharging people what they did to the Cold Crush. It may be some of the things that allowed him to not be super hands-on on Drake, right? Where it, or maybe super, I guess, maybe looking at Drake as a competition or relegating him, right? And over so much that it allowed him to keep pushing Drake to the forefront, right? And asking him to be himself, right? And that wasn't him asking Drake to be himself, wasn't a chess move. It was really a genuine, like, yo, dog, I appreciate you and what you bring to the game, and I'm me, and I may not be here forever. You go ahead and keep being your Afro-Canadian R&B singing. A lot of y'all like to use that clip. We don't have enough time to post it here, where he says, I've always tell Drake to be Drake. I don't want Drake to be anything other than Drake. And that type of personality with a Drake who has his own sort of, headstrong, I'm going to be this guy, that's a good mix to that will allow someone to be the best that they can be. Now, I say all that to say, I guess everybody was with who they were supposed to be, right? Because Drake landed with Wayne and ended up being one of the biggest rappers alive. Cole landed with Jay and still ended up being the biggest rapper alive. Everyone take a chill pill. We're just contrasting and we're just seeing how one thing worked with another person. And life is so funny. If you swap it out, if you had put Wayne with J. Cole and Drake with Jay-Z, their careers might not even be as big as it was. So I don't even think it was one person who was better than the other. I just think one person was fit for the other. Because believe it or not, everything I said about J. Cole in that last video, he may have needed all those interactions with Jay-Z.